The ACT Alliance and all of our 146 members in 140 countries around the world have been thinking really critically about what is transformational change in the context of sustainable development. Now, the Alliance has been involved in sustainable development really since 2012 with the Rio +20 conference, where there's an overlay by the international community of the concept of sustainability within the concepts of development as we know them today. That process at the UN has sort of since evolved a bit to involve how do we respond to the end of the mandate for the Millennium Development Goals. This entire process has been called the post-2015 process. Perhaps some of you have heard of it. Well, for ACT Alliance, it means some things really specifically. Firstly, we look at what were the mistakes, what were the challenges, what were the obstacles that the Millennium Development Goals had to overcome. And we thought really, first and foremost, while it was great to have a really strong focus on health, on education, and on really sector-specific elements of how we do development, maybe that was a tiny bit short-sighted when it comes to governmental policies to promote, the work of sustainable development across the board. So in this new emerging post-2015 agenda, we've thought about what cross-cutting multi-sectoral issues would be best to address the needs and concerns we have for what's truly a transformational agenda. So things like, what is governance? Is good governance necessary for sustainable development? What about when conflict and fragility happens in a country context? Is sustainable development possible? We also thought about environmental sustainability and the impacts of climate change. And also, lastly, we thought a little bit about inequalities, both between people in a country context, but also between countries, north-south, south-south, etc. So as we enter the year 2015 and member states begin the negotiations of what this new post-2015 agenda will actually be, the ACT Alliance would like to promote 5 really critical issue areas. We developed position papers to cover these areas as well. One is on climate considerations. How does climate change impact sustainable development? The second is on the issue of inequalities. This is both economic and social and political inequalities across the world. Then we have some more theme-specific position papers on social protection, but think social protection in the broad sense, including health, financial infrastructure, etc. Then we have a paper on finance for development. How do we pay for all these ideas that we have? Is the international community ready to really promote anti-poverty agenda through the money? Is there money where your mouth is? And lastly, we focused on bridging the gaps between what we consider sustainable development and what we consider humanitarian response with disaster risk reduction action. So I encourage you, check us out on actalliance.org.